Hey guys, welcome back to American Heritage Homestead. One thing I love to share with you guys is the foraging that I'm learning, and there's so much in bloom right now on our homestead. If you look behind me, it's probably hard to see. I'll show you close up in a minute, but there are little purple bluish flowers which are considered chicory. There's a whole plant I'm going to show you about, and one thing I love to do, what I've told you before, is I often take my phone. If I don't know what the plant is, I take a picture, go inside, and I get some of these books that I love for medicinal plants. This one is actually my favorite. She gives you some of the best. This is The Woman Who Was On Alone. This is probably my favorite resource because it not only tells you the plant, its uses, things you can do with it, so much information. So I actually saved the spot right here for chicory, which we're about to look at. But if you look in this book, right, it shows you the picture here that you can easily identify when it grows, how to identify it, its edible uses, medicinal uses, what it's good for. It's actually good for parasites, right? It's a bitter, right? So it's kind of similar to like a dandelion or milk thistle, things like that. So it actually helps to detoxify your liver. The bitters are very good to help your liver detox and cleanse, good for diabetes, swelling, all different things. So I love this book. I love going inside after, or all my books. I actually have a bunch on my shelf that I like to look through and see what they say and mark kind of what I do have on my property so I can easily look, because I'm going to harvest them, dry them out often, and then know how I want to know what it is and label them on the jar so I know how to use it afterwards and what you can do. And there's different things you can obviously save for teas, tinctures, salves, all those different things. So let's get to harvesting. So it's probably still a little hard to see, but I have my little basket. I'll probably get more after because there's other things I need to get. So I'm going to harvest some of this chicory. Let me just cut a piece to show you. So it's actually interesting. If you look closely, you see how beautiful these little purple flowers are. So you can cut those and you can make different teas out of them. I'm going to save some of these flowers, dry them out, so I have them. And it's so funny because this field is filled with so many different things. Just, a few weeks ago, this was covered in daisies, and now those flowers are gone. Maybe some back there a little bit, but the chicory has taken over. Deer also love chicory, so if you have that, I'm going to cut these into the basket. And the reason why I want to share these things is because oftentimes we are so dependent on the medical system, right? And I get it, because it's like, okay, I have this issue, I can take this pill. But the truth of the matter is that many years before, this is how people lived to heal themselves, take care of themselves. And a lot of times they were much healthier because this is what they were ingesting, right? God's green, beautiful earth that he's given us. He said, behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant. And so all of these produce seeds. They're all good for you. There's medicine. And so to me, that is important, that even if we do have, sicknesses or diseases, that we have ways to heal our body. And a lot of times our bodies are so backed up and toxic because of, the atmosphere, things that are sprayed, the things that are on our foods, right? They spray so much on our food. And so think about our systems, how backed up they get. So our liver, which is the detox center, is way backed up. And so it's like working triple time. And so ways that we can help our body is by eating a cleaner diet, right? Growing your own food so you don't have all that stuff on it. And maybe you can't grow your own food, but you do the best that you can, right? And something like this, if you have dandelions growing in your backyard, you know how much money I used to spend at Whole Foods buying dandelion salad so we can eat them. When, like, just look in your backyard. Obviously you don't want to go from places like parks or roads and things like that where they spray and it's toxic, but you can pick in your own backyard, save it, dry it out, and drink that. And you help your body. You're helping boost your system, right? And so you have a stronger immune system altogether. And so since there's a surplus here, why not, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here a little bit. So the ones with the purple flowers on them, and it's actually funny because these close at nighttime, because even my daughter said she wanted to pick some for a friend. She came out and they were closed, and it says they open up before the sun's, I think, strong index, basically in the morning. So now they're obviously blooming, and more will bloom, but I am going to cut some of these leaves for a salad and try them and see how they taste. They're probably a little bit more bitter, and maybe your palate has to kind of acquire a taste for that. which I don't really mind. I love like green drinks and smoothies. My daughter doesn't understand how I drink them, but I ran, you know, like a healthy cafe for a long time. And so I lived like this all the time, and that's all I drank. I didn't even drink coffee back then. I had nothing but tea until my husband came along. And then I remember he was drinking coffee and Sweet and Low or something in one of those packets, and I was like, are you kidding me? You know, I was so healthy, and I'm like, sugar? We don't even have sugar. When my daughter and I had treats when she was younger, it was like tea. We had tea together, but you know, times have changed. Here we are. So anyway, some people make, like I said, salads out of this, or you can treat it like spinach and put a little garlic and oil and cook it up. So I'm going to try a few things. I'm not only going to do that, but yeah, so I'm going to cook some of these. I'm also just going to dry this out to have for tea. Do you know how much money I spend on tea, right? I buy a lot of traditional medicinals, and so I am trying to now have my own tea. And so, you know, the problem is with space to dry everything out. And of course, my husband is like, what are you doing? Because I always have something new drying or all over, or it's like never completed. It's still lying there, and he wants the table clean. And of course, we have family coming. But, you know, you got to harvest when you can harvest, or else, you know, you'll miss it. So here I am. Here I am. Another thing is I have mullein growing over there, so I want to get the mullein also, because that is so good for you. You know, I was buying mullein tea, so if you're sick and you have like, you know, mucus, or your kids have mucus, things like that, give them some tea. That'll help clear it right up. We have to know the ways how to heal our body, and to me that's so important. So I've kind of been on this journey for the last, you know, I don't know, I guess I would say 10 years, right? 10 years ago is when I was super healthy, running the cafe and doing all those things. And then, of course, you know, I kind of went back to my old ways and convenience, but I didn't stop learning. And so, you know, that's what I love to do, because I want to be healthier. I want to take care of my body. And I remember even not long ago saying to my husband, I do not feel healthy, right? I need to, like, we should still be feeling great, right? Because we have all of this. And it's crazy. Like, we look around our yards and ignore so much of what's around us, but it's just ignorance, right? Because we really don't know. I didn't know. Now I can look around and say, oh my gosh, that's clover. Oh my gosh, that's dandelion. Oh my God, you know, whatever it is, white clover, chicory, whatever it is, and you start to see. Now, after watching this video, you're going to recognize chicory when you see it on the side of the road or things like that, because you will see it a lot there. And obviously these purple flowers will help you identify. So this is the plant I was telling you about that is so good for you, for your lungs, congestion, breathing. Look how big that is. So all you do, guys, this is how easy it is to make your own medicine, right? It's growing in your backyard. And remember, you know, if you live somewhere with 4 seasons, this isn't going to be here all winter. So you have to make sure that you take the time to see that. If it is blooming now, take it, right? And so simply, all you have to do is just cut like I just did. And you're going to have to lay this on something and let it dry out. Look at that. Now I have mullein medicine, right? Once it dries out, I have mullein tea. Once it dries out, I can add, or even if I don't dry it out, you can add some vodka, make a tincture, right? Or there's different ways to do it if you don't want to use that vodka. But the other thing is, so this is like a really fuzzy feeling plant. Let me show you up close. I don't know if you can see, but super fuzzy. And so there are these little, I don't even know what you would call on it, that will irritate you. So basically, if you boil it, you kind of want to run it through a strainer or a cheesecloth, so that doesn't irritate your throat. But this is all I'm doing here. I don't want this to go to waste. Like, this is beautiful. This is a gift. This is health for me and my family. And so while my husband hates all these things sitting on the table, you know, he'll be thankful if he gets a sore throat, right? This is it, guys. So I want to encourage you, look how easy this is. Teach your kids. We are a homeschool family. If you are a homeschool family, use this as science, medicinal herbs, right? Going out, identification, plant identification, taking your kids in the woods and, searching for different things, looking at the different types of mushrooms. That's not something that I've gotten into, but, eventually I would like to. But it's slow steps, right? So don't compare yourself. Don't look at other people, because then when you do, it's like overwhelming. Maybe you don't even want to get started, but, just go slowly through learning. And then you just learn something new every day and you're like, wow. Today is actually 1 year of being in this home, which I think is so amazing. And so something that my husband and I do is we have like little business meetings. We don't have like a business or anything, we just call it that, but really we write down all of our ideas, our visions, the things we want for our children, entrepreneurial things that we're working on or doing, or just things that we do want to do, and we talk about them and we discuss them and we see our goals and our plans come to fruition, right? And we kind of hold each other accountable or help each other take the steps to get to achieve those goals, right? Garden was one of them, and here we are. This was a blank slate before. I saw a girl on Instagram, and man, she had these beautiful white beds, and I just kept looking, right? And I'm like, we're moving in. I wanted it as a gift to myself for our home. So we got these beautiful Vigo garden beds. I absolutely love them, right? And so this was just a dream of mine. We put these beds down and moved them into different places like 500 times until I was happy with the layout and the setup. And I am now. But look at this. So this was nothing. We had to take the steps, right? So you have to do like little steps, and that's what we would do. Okay, we need soil. So we ordered soil from a person who delivered it. We worked sweating as a family, filling up these beds and bringing soil to each bed to fill in. A friend of mine blessed me with so many, because we moved at the end of the season, right? So we didn't even get to plant yet. She blessed me, like a new friend, with all these different plants that I got to put in my garden because of her. She gave me compost from her garden. It was just like, oh my gosh, so many blessings poured out. And then we did get other plants, and we did put seeds, and I could not believe how beautiful this garden was last year. I'll try to put a picture in just to show you. We had such a beautiful harvest of carrots and beets, and some stuff didn't take because it was so late in the season, but I was just trying. But anyway, look at this. And now we have a blooming garden, right? Now we have beds that are established, which we didn't have last year. And so I told you I was going out with my husband, and that's what we're going to do, is have our little date and our meeting. Like we usually go to a lunch place or a coffee place. But tonight we're doing a dinner place, and usually it's Chipotle. Sometimes that we eat Chipotle, and then we go over and have coffee in a bookshop and write down our goals and everything. But today, instead of really talking about those goals, what I would like to bring to the table, right, because we each bring something, is, what we have achieved in a year, right? It's crazy. Ooh, it's crazy when you look back, right? When you really take steps and write down your steps and go after them, so then you can look back. So I can now flip back in our business meeting pages and say, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, there is so much that we have accomplished here. There was nothing here before, right? My husband built that coop. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video about that, our 1 year here. So anyway, that's my point in saying, just take a step. You don't need to like worry and think that you need a million things, right? Because then it's chaos, right? But slow steps here and there to learn. And it is just crazy. And then you will be excited. I hope I have space for all of this to dry. You will be excited to go back and look at the work of your hands. And, even here I have I don't know if you can see, little baby kales growing. I had this microgreens thing, and I planted them in, and then we had torrential downpours, like tornado crazy. Everything flooded my seeds out, but just a few did come in, and these little baby kales. And I have oregano back here. I don't know if you can see. Parsley is my favorite herb of all time. I told my kids that when I die, I want just parsley. They hate me talking like this. But that I want parsley plants all over, because that smell is my favorite smell. And I'm like, every time you smell that, I want you to remember me, parsley, because it's just so fresh. I love that in my smoothies and things like that. I have, oh my gosh, that's taken over. What is this called? I can't remember. Oh my gosh. Thyme. So much time. But even that, oregano, you can put in oil, right? And let it soak for, I forget how long, Oil of oregano, right? Do you know how much I spend on buying or oil of oregano capsules, right, to take? Right here, right? That's all you got to do, guys. Learn to make your own medicine. It's not that hard. Look up a video, find out ways to do it. Super simple. So anyway, I hope you are encouraged today, that you learned something new. If you have any questions, let me know. Anything to share, please do so. Thank you for following along. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will see you soon.